Hello, this short video will show you how to obtain some basic summary statistics using the JMP package. Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. So here's the data set that we talked about in class, where we were interested in the size of these impact craters. Other variables that they considered were the sand type, the projectile type, and the height. Here we're just going to concentrate on summarizing the diameter. And we'll do that by selecting Analyze, Distribution. We'll put diameter here in the Y columns box, and then select OK. And what you will get returned is a set of output that looks like this here. This is our output window inside of JMP. I can alter the output if I want using these, or get additional output if I would like from these red drop-down menus. So for example, if I want to turn this information to a horizontal layout, I would select Display Options, Horizontal Layout. That'll allow me to see the output here a little easier on my screen. So if I wanted to, for example, to get rid of the outlier box plot, I can just deselect that and that'll go away. There are additional summaries over here that we could obtain. So we are given the mean, standard deviation, and sample size. If you wanted other summaries, we can do that from just customize your summaries. Here we have all of the different quantiles or percentiles identified by JMP. We talked about the kernel smoothers, putting a kernel smoother over the top of our histogram. To do that, we're going to select the red drop-down menu here and do continuous fit. And then the one that we're going to want to select is the fit smooth curve. If we wanted to put a bell curve over the top or a normal curve over the top of our histogram, we would just select fit normal here. Let's go ahead and do the kernel smoother though, which is going to be the smooth curve here. That information, or that smoother, just gets put over the top of our histogram that we have here. I was given some additional output here. So compare densities, we can just minimize that if we want. We can minimize this information. I do want to show you here, the over on the right is what allows you to control how much smoothing is done. So this is the bandwidth there, which again is related to how wide your window is when you're doing your smoothing. So if I pull this way to the right, that's going to increase that bandwidth a lot, and I'm going to get way too much smoothing here. If I bring that to the left too much, I'm just going to get a whole bunch of jiggity lines, and that's not enough smoothing. So you just want to kind of find the sweet spot there in between these. The default setting actually does pretty darn good. I don't remember what the default setting was, but the default setting does pretty good when you're looking at these. So that would be a kernel smoother over the top of our histogram. Okay, so what if I want to look at some summary statistics, maybe across the projectile types or across the sand type? To do that, I'm going to select Analyze, Fit Y by X now, because I have two things that I want to consider here. The response Y, and then the projectile type is going to be one of my predictor variables or independent variables that I'm going to be looking at. So here, a diameter again goes in the response box, and if I want to consider projectile type, I'm going to select that here. Put that in the X factor box. This is kind of the standard output that we get here. Just showing you a dot plot for each of the different types here. If you want to get the kind of the basic summary statistics, from the red drop-down menu, you can select means and standard deviations. That just provides the means, standard deviations, number of outcomes. We also have some additional information over here, but this is broken out here by each of the different projectile types. Okay, so how about a CDF plot? We looked at those in class. So from my red drop-down menu, I can select CDF plot. Now here I'm going to get three different CDF plots because I'm looking at the diameter across the projectile type here. Okay, so we looked at this plot today in class. You can see that the steel balls tend to have the higher diameters here compared to the wood balls, which are back here. To get the kernel smoothers, okay, what I'm going to do is just select densities and then compare densities here. So again, from my red drop-down menu, densities, compare densities. And that'll provide me with a plot that compares the three densities there across the projectile types. Obviously, if I wanted to do something with sand type instead, what I would have to do is go back here, say analyze, fit y by x, diameter here, sand type here, and then I could do the compare densities on that display. Now I only have two, coarse and fine here, not three like I had before, but I can say densities, compare densities, and I will get the two densities here. And we can see that I have a lot of overlap for sand type, and I don't have nearly, there's a little bit more separation here when I'm looking at the projectile type. So projectile type, excuse me, seems to have a little more influence on the diameter because I'm getting more separation in these distributions. Okay, that does it then for showing you some basic descriptive summaries in JMP. Thank you.